AJ Smith-Shawver flirts with a no-hitter in a 4-0 win against the Cincinnati Reds. Has the young top prospect finally arrived at the big league level and shown that potential that we all know is there? We'll talk about it on today's episode of Locked On Braves. So let's get into it.
You are Locked On Braves, your daily Atlanta Braves podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, and welcome back to Locked On Braves, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your favorite Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host, Jake Mastroianni. You can follow me on social media at ShortstopBall. Check out the podcast there at LockedOn_Braves on X and Locked On Braves on Instagram. If you're new and watching this on YouTube, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and leave me a comment down below. Thank you so much for all your support here at Locked On Braves on the YouTube side of things, on the audio side, where you've been absolutely destroying it with the downloads, both for this podcast and the postcast. Appreciate you all your support there as well. And you can help us out even further by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. And again, thanks for making Locked On Braves your first listen of each and every day. On today's podcast, we'll break down the Braves 4-0 win over the Cincinnati Reds on Monday night. Talk a lot about AJ Smith-Shawver and the performance that he put together. Has he finally figured it out at the big league level? We'll get into all of that. This also will be our minors spotlight segment this week. We'll talk about all the standout performances at the minor league level, and then we'll set you up for Tuesday's game where maybe we'll get another no-hit performance out of Chris Sale this time around. We'll discuss all that on today's episode, which is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Maybe that next AJ Smith-Shawver start, you might want to use the Game Time code there to get $20 off your first purchase. Well, the Atlanta Braves get off to a good start against the Cincinnati Reds, a 4-0 win, following up their win on Sunday Night Baseball. That's 2 in a row if you're counting. But the story in this one obviously is AJ Smith-Shawver. 8 innings, 1 hit, 4 walks, but no earned runs, 5 strikeouts in 99 pitches. He takes a no-hitter into the 8th inning, and just an incredible start from him, following up the start in Colorado, which, you know, at that time was shaping up to be maybe the best start of his career until he took that comebacker off the elbow. He was very efficient in that one. I think he was going to go at least 6, 7, maybe 8 innings in that one too. And now you have another start where he does go through 8 innings, doesn't take any comebackers off the arm this time, which is also nice. So you're looking at now with the start on Monday and the performance that he had in Colorado. Now you're looking at 2 straight starts, and that's not enough for us, or for me at least, to get completely enthralled and excited about the possibility of AJ Smith-Shawver just suddenly becoming a dominant starter at the big league level. I believe it's in there. That's why I had him ranked as the Braves' top prospect, because I think the upside is that high. But I'm not going to declare that after 2 starts, even though they were both really impressive starts by AJ Smith-Shawver. But kind of like I talked about in the game in Colorado, you look deeper into the metrics a little bit, and they don't necessarily buy everything that AJ Smith-Shawver was doing. Only 10 whiffs in this game, which not terrible. Talked about Grant Holmes and 15 whiffs that he had against the Rockies. Spencer Schwelbach 14. So anything in double digits is solid. Anything over 20, which is what Chris Sale had the other day, is just otherworldly. But 10 whiffs. He did have 10 hard hit balls given up. So again, gave up a lot of hard contact. And on those 10 hard hit balls that he gave up, he also had a 90.2 mile per hour average X velocity against. But of those 10 hard hit balls, 6 of them had an expected batting average of 380 or higher. So certainly some good luck in there. And that's part of pitching. You need some good luck on your side to have an incredible outing like this. Also had some great defensive plays behind him, particularly at shortstop. Now he was out of the game at this point, but the play from Nick Allen to end the game, I mean, is he really going to win the Gold Glove this year at shortstop? It's kind of crazy to think about, but that play to end the game, I mean, that's a backhand in the hole, pretty, decent runner, and Spencer Steer, I believe it was, running down to first base, and he throws a 1-hop over there. Granted, he doesn't have the strongest arm from shortstop, and he gets it over there in plenty of time. I mean, that is a really impressive play by Nick Allen. So going back to AJ Smith-Shawver, though, in this start, definitely had some good batted ball luck, had some good defense behind him, but still, he's getting outs. And I love the efficiency. And this is the same thing in the start in Colorado that I talked about. what I was impressed more than anything with in Colorado was his efficiency. And same thing in this one as well. It's the longest start he's ever had as a pitcher. I would imagine, I know it's his longest start professionally. I don't think in high school they had him going 8 innings, but it's definitely his longest start professionally. And again, what I'm most impressed by in these last 2 starts is just his efficiency, because the stuff is there, and it's unhittable type of stuff when he is on. It really doesn't surprise me at all that we see AJ Smith-Shawver push a no-hitter into the 8th inning. It is no-hit type of stuff when he is on. But again, what I'm most impressed with is just the efficiency. Now, he did have 4 walks in this game, 2 in the 1st inning, 2 in the 4th inning, but still managed to get through 8 innings in just under 100 pitches. Big double play to end that 8th inning. Loved his enthusiasm coming off the field, even after he had just given up the no-hitter, still staying engaged, being able to buckle down after that and not let the inning get away from him and be able to actually finish the inning. And like I said, do so in under 100 pitches. It was 99 pitches, 60 strikes, so a pretty good ratio there. Another thing I loved that I saw from AJ Smith-Shawver in this one, and the question I've always had, but he's never really gone deep enough in the games for me to get an answer, is that the velo was still there on the fastball deep into the game. He touched 97.5 miles per hour in the 6th inning, and then was 95, 96 in the 7th and 8th inning. So he was able to maintain that velocity. And final big thing, again, I know I kind of, with these past 2 starts, I haven't completely bought in on AJ Smith-Shawver, and I've even downplayed it a little bit, but I'm giving you some really good points too here why to be excited going forward. I mentioned the efficiency. I mentioned the velocity being able to be maintained deep into the start. And the other one in this one is that he seemed to get better as the game went on. And hopefully that's now just some more confidence that I wrote down that he's finally gaining confidence at the big league level, but also remembering he's just 22 years old. It feels like he's been around for so long, but he's still just 22 years old. But again, hopefully these last 2 starts have proven to him that stuff's good enough. Just throw enough strikes, be in the zone, and be efficient. And this is the type of pitcher you can be. I'm not saying he's going to have 7 no-hit innings every time out, but he can be somebody that goes deep into the ball games and, doesn't give up a ton of runs, because his stuff is that good. He should get a long look in the rotation now. At this point, his next 2 starts could come against the Pirates and the Nationals, so pretty favorable matchup. So a chance for him to gain even more confidence in those starts. If everybody's throwing well at that point, I think it's also an opportunity for the Braves to go to a 6-man rotation. Holmes throwing the ball well. Elder right now. AJ Smith-Shawver with back-to-back really good starts. So if those guys are throwing the ball well, and obviously you get Sell and Schwellenbach back on track and Strider returns, it's a potential to go to a 6-man rotation, but we're still a little bit away from that happening, as Strider's just now doing long toss, need him to throw off the mound, and then we'll see if he needs a rehab appearance. So that's on down the road, but thought I'd at least briefly mention it. The last big positive in this one, and we talked about this a lot on the postcast, go back and give that a listen, but the key for AJ Smith-Shawver is that fastball, and you saw him in the zone with that fastball a lot in this game. 57 four-seamers overall, so he really focused in. He and Sean Murphy, who did a great job calling the game, as always, behind the plate. 57% four-seamers, 65% of them in the zone. That is a huge number for AJ Smith-Shawver, and if he can do that with the fastball, if he can locate it well in the zone, with that velocity, with that induced vertical break, which is, generally are a 16 or higher, which is where you want it, it just makes that splitter so much more devastating. That curveball, which he only threw 12 times in this one, only threw the slider once. It was really just fastball, splitter, and then it mixed in a few curveballs. But it really, the key is that fastball. And 65% strike in the end zone with that four-seam fastball is huge for AJ Smith-Shawver, and it just allows his other pitches to play up so much. So again, great performance. I'm not saying he's going to be a Cy Young winner anytime soon, but these are 2 really good performances by AJ Smith-Shawver. Quickly touch on the rest of the game. Enyel De Los Santos, he came in to finish it off in the 9th inning. I talked yesterday how in a garbage time performance or appearance for De Los Santos on Saturday, I really loved the slider and thought it was the most consistent he's been with that. I love the changeup in the game on Monday night. I thought the changeup looked really good. He had to face a couple of lefties. De La Cruz batting from the left side, and then also Gavin Lux, who he did walk. But I thought the changeup looked really good in that outing for De Los Santos. So good stuff from him there. They did have to get Iggy up, which you hated that, but it's because the offense continues to struggle. It's now 5 straight games of lackluster performances by this offense after they went on a really good run. You got 4 runs in the 3rd inning, and let's be honest, 2 of them came because a guy broke his arm. And, which, by the way, prayers up for Tyler Callahan. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. Really hate that for him. Young man who just made his debut. He's going all out trying to make a play for his team. You could hear it on the live broadcast, or you could even see it. He just has a big thud into that wall. But he made that catch. I mean, the ball fell out before he was able to take it out himself. So that's why it does go down as a hit and ultimately a home run for Matt Olson, which there's nothing Matt Olson can do. It feels bad, but he has to keep going. But yeah, certainly hate that for Tyler Callahan, and hopefully he's able to get back soon and get back up to the big leagues once that forearm is healed. But that's all you got. You got 4 runs in that 3rd inning, and that's all the offense was able to do. And you had a leadoff single in the 4th inning with Ozzie Albies, who has speed, and you get nothing. He at least gets a second base on a fielder's choice, but nothing. You had a leadoff double from your leadoff hitter in the 5th inning, and your 2, 3, 4 hitters can't do anything to bring him in. Matt Olson did walk, as he typically does, but then Sean Murphy strikes out looking, which, by the way, Sean Murphy's last 3 games, he's hitless with 4 strikeouts. So he seems to have cooled off a little bit, which he's going to have some hot and cold streaks. But the biggest thing for me now, it's 5 straight games, like I said, of lackluster performances. In those 5 games, they are 1 for 20. Or sorry, excuse me. They were 1 for 23 with runners in scoring position going into the game. They're now 2 for 30 with runners in scoring position over their last 5 games. They are not getting that big hit. The last 2 games, they have not gotten the big hit early on to knock a starter out and put the game away. And that's going to come back to bite them at some point this year if they don't get better at getting that big hit early on to knock a pitcher out and to put the game away. And just overall, these last 5 games, not being able to come up with those clutch hits. We know how much the Braves have struggled with runners in scoring position, and they're in another rut now, 2 for their last 30 with runners in scoring position. Michael Harris goes 0 for 4 with 2 of the team's 4 strikeouts. They did a great job putting the ball in play, but just not enough good contact. Murphy over his last 13, like I mentioned, no walks and 4 strikeouts. Verdugo had a great game, and Raleigh had 3 hard hits. So we'll end it on a high note there with those 2 guys at the top of the order. Eli White and Nick Allen both had a hit, so at least they were able to get on base, but still weren't able to manufacture enough to really put this game away, which forced you to have to get Raisel Iglesias at least up. I don't know that he got hot necessarily, but you at least had to get him up. But again, great start from AJ Smith-Shawver, a 4-0 win over the Reds to kick off that 4-game series. So a great start to the week for the Braves. Next, we'll get into our Minors Spotlight segment as the minor league games get set to start this week on Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night. We'll talk about all of that here next. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, having 3 kids, all of that, it's easy to lose track of where all your money is going. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. And like I said, I have 3 kids. Me and my wife have 3 kids. I've been married for almost 10 years. Money can be a big stress point in a marriage, and Monarch Money can help you with that. So make sure you give them a try. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com, and you're going to get 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Thank you as always for making Locked On Braves your first listen of each and every day. Go check out the guys over at Locked On MLB, Sully with the podcast over there every day. Guys over at MLB Game Night highlighting the top performances from each and every day. So make sure you go check out Locked On MLB for your second listen. Now it is our Minors Spotlight, weekly Spotlight segment here, talking about the best performances from the prior week. The Gwinnett Stripers went 3-4 last week against Nashville. That's the Brewers AAA affiliate. Garrett Cooper, 10 for 26, 2 doubles, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Carlos Rodriguez, probably your best outfielder if something happens. Fortunately, the Braves are in a pretty good spot now, outfield-wise, but Carlos Rodriguez has had a pretty solid year, was at AA and now at AAA. He went 8 for 25 this past week. I did have a double stolen base, or 2 stolen bases, also did get caught stealing twice. Matthew Batten, not going to lie, I did not even know this person was in the system, but had a good week, 7 for 23, 2 doubles, 1 home run, 3 walks, 2 stolen bases, was signed to a minor league deal back in February, has played left field, third base, second base, and first base so far this season for Gwinnett. And then Jared Kelenic, 6 for 22, a double, 5 walks, 6 strikeouts, did get caught stealing once, but a pretty solid week for Jared Kelenic, who tries to get on track. On the pitching side of things at Gwinnett, Jose Suarez, 2 games this past week, both short starts, as they kind of stretch him out. 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 1 hit batter, no earned, and 11 strikeouts. And Nathan Wiles, 6 innings, 5 hits, no walks, 3 earned, 2 home runs allowed, and 11 strikeouts. Davis Daniels, 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 2 earned, and 1 strikeout. I mentioned those 3 guys in succession there because those are probably your top 3 options if something else were to happen to a starter right now. Jose Suarez, Nathan Wiles, and Davis Daniel. Though that's your starting pitching depth. And look, they had good weeks. They've had some good performances at AAA, but that's what you're looking at if something were to happen in the rotation right now. But fortunately, rotation, knock on wood, looking pretty good at the moment. Speaking of looking pretty good, Dylan Dodd had a blow-up outing early in the season. I think it was his first outing of the season. He has been great since then. This past week, 3 innings, 3 hits, no walks, no earned, and 6 strikeouts. Could become, some more left-handed reliever depth in the system. They picked up Austin Cox the other day. Dylan Dodd, left-hander, obviously starter being turned into a reliever. It can work sometimes if you give it a chance, and perhaps after a rough start, Dylan Dodd's starting to figure it out in the bullpen. Anoli Paredes, 3 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 6 strikeouts. Domingo Gonzalez, 3 1/3, just 1 hit, no walks, no earned, and 3 strikeouts. So some good performances there for bullpen arms. Craig Kimbrell, 2 1/3 innings, 1 hit, but did walk 3, no earned runs, and just 2 strikeouts. And then Hurston Waldrop. I feel like I shake my head every week and I talk about Hurston Waldrop because it's so maddening because the stuff can be so good, and I was so excited about this pick. Just lasted just 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 3 walks, 3 earned, and 1 strikeout. I think it's time to have a conversation and just see what he can do out of the bullpen. And I know I said earlier before the season that you got to wait till the halfway mark maybe to make that decision for the second half, and maybe that's still the smart thing to do, but it's been a rough beginning to 2025 for Hurston Waldrop. Down at Columbus, the Clingstones go 1-5 against Biloxi, the Brewers AA affiliate. Ethan Workinger, 8 for 22, a double, 4 home runs, and 9 RBI this past week, 2 walks as well. Dave McCabe, 5 for 17 with 5 walks. Cal Conley, 5 hits, 3 walks, and 2 stolen bases. On the pitching side, Hayden Harris, 2 1/3, no hits, 1 walk, 1 hit batter, no earned, and 6 strikeouts. I don't know why he's still at AA, but continuing to get it done. Ian Mejia, 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 walk, a hit batter, no earned, and 5 strikeouts. And a relief appearance there for Ian Mejia. Lucas Braun, 5 1/3 innings, just 2 hits, but did walk 5 batters, only 1 earned run allowed though, and 4 strikeouts. Didier Fuentes still struggling to make that adjustment to AA in his second AA start. 5 innings, 8 hits, no walks though. Did hit 2 batters, 5 earned runs, and just 3 strikeouts. Giancarlo Lara, 6 more walks. He has 18 walks and 24 strikeouts in 16 innings. So more walks than innings pitched, but also a good number of strikeouts. It is also time to have a conversation about Giancarlo Lara, and at what point do you move him to the bullpen? Blake Burkhalter, 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 walks, 4 earned, and 2 strikeouts. And then Drew Hackenberg, he also, like Waldrop, only lasted 2/3 of an inning. The Braves pitcher throws around 30 pitches in 1 inning. They're going to get them out of there. They're not going to let them be extended beyond 30 pitches in any single inning. So that's probably the case there for Waldrop and Hackenberg. For the Rome Emperors, 3-3 this past week against Hub City, the Rangers High A affiliate. Patrick Clowisey went 6 for 20 with a double, a home run, 3 walks, and 4 stolen bases. EJ Exposito continues his good play coming back from injury, 6 for 16, a double, 3 walks, 1 stolen base. Ambior Taveras continues to cool down a little bit here after his hot start, just 3 for 17, a double, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. So really hate that for Taveras, that I was hoping it was going to be his breakout year offensively and become that shortstop prospect for the Braves, but he has certainly cooled off over the past couple of weeks. On the pitching side, somebody that has not cooled off and somebody that I've been very high on, excited about for a while is J.R. Ritchie, another guy that would not shock me at all if he gets a call up at some point this week. or at least sometime really soon. He made 2 starts last week. His first one on April 29th, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, no earned, 6 strikeouts. And then on May 4th, 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, no walks, no earned, and 6 strikeouts. He has been fantastic so far this season at Rome. And like I said, might be time for him to get the bump up to AA. May want to swap him and Didier Fuentes. Thought the Fuentes promotion was a little aggressive, and I think it's almost past due for J.R. Ritchie at this point. Garrett Bauman, 4 innings, 2 hits, no walks, no earned, 7 strikeouts. Ryan Barraza, who I continue to mention on here just about every week, out of the bullpen, 2 innings, no hits, no walks, no earned, and 5 strikeouts. Riley Frey, 4 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, no earned, and 4 strikeouts. He's on a good little run too. And then Adam Mayer, also on a good little run, 6 innings, 2 hits, no walks, 1 hit batter, 1 earned, and 4 strikeouts. At Augusta, they go 1-5 against Kannapolis this past week. The White Sox single A affiliate. Isaiah Drake, 6 for 20 at the plate, a double, a triple, a walk, but 8 strikeouts. Did have 3 stolen bases. Owen Carey, 5 for 20 with a double. John Gill, 5 hits, 4 walks, 5 stolen bases, 2 doubles, and a home run. So showing off some power there from Gill. Don't usually see that. Douglas Glod, 5 hits and 5 walks. And then Eric Hartman, 4 hits, including 2 triples, 4 walks, and 3 stolen bases. And on the pitching side for Augusta, Brett Sears, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts. 7th round pick out of Nebraska in 2024. He's pitched 18 2/3 innings this year. Couple of starts, other outings as a reliever. 31 strikeouts in those 18 2/3 innings, a 1.92 ERA, and a 1.02 WHIP. And then finally, a Raven Antonio, haven't mentioned this name before, but 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, no earned, and 5 strikeouts. And then the Complex League in Florida is underway for the Atlanta Braves. Only played 2 games coming into Monday. Mario Baez, 2 for 8. Jose Perdomo, 2 for 6 with a double, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Diego Benitez, 1 for 8 with a double, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. Those are really the names to keep an eye on at the FCL level. Baez, Perdomo, and Benitez. And then on the pitching side, Wilmer Guerra went 3 innings, 1 hit, 2 walks, no earned, and 5 strikeouts. And Justin Militello, 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 earned, and 4 strikeouts. So glad to see those seasons getting underway. Perdomo in particular is the big name to watch there at the FCL level, the Florida Complex League for the Braves. If he were to get off to a fantastic start and just look like he doesn't belong there, then maybe we get a promotion to Augusta at some point where I can finally get my eyes on him. So that is your minor league spotlight for the week. Some good stuff happening there, both on the pitching and hitting side for the Braves at the minor league level. Next, we'll get into a little bit of news and then set you up for Tuesday's game where you got Andrew Abbott going up against Chris Sale. We'll discuss that here next. There's nothing better than catching an MLB game live, the crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, and, of course, the smell of ballpark food, which is irresistible. And if you're looking to go last minute, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever with last minute deals, all in prices, and a lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. Plus, ticket prices drop as Game Time gets closer, meaning you can score an incredible deal at the last minute. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On, and as the MLB season is coming up, I can count on them to grab some tickets last minute for any Braves games that I might be going to. And they have the Game Time Picks feature, which makes finding the best deals effortless. It filters out the fluff and highlights the top discounts in the stadium. I also love that I can preview the view from my seat. I know exactly what I'm going to be looking at before I purchase it. You can see that right there in the app. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase with Game Time. So we did get a little bit of injury news update for both Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuña Jr. Nothing really helpful, but hey, I'm not going to complain after I kind of complained yesterday that the beat writers weren't doing enough to ask these questions of where these guys are, where are your 2 most popular players. So we did get some sort of answer with both of those guys. Strider is doing long toss, and Snit said he's progressing nicely, but again, we need to see him throwing off a mound. Will he need a rehab start at that point? Those are questions still to be answered. But it sounds like he is progressing as well as they could hope at the moment. As for Ronald Acuña Jr., we mentioned the other day, it was reported that he still wasn't, ready to begin a rehab. And now Snitker's saying he's still going through workouts and he's got to go back to LA again to be checked out by his doctors before getting cleared for a rehab assignment. I'm just shocked. Again, I don't know what to make of the Ronald Acuña Jr. situation. You're now talking about a longer time frame from the first time, which I guess in some regards makes sense. It's the second major knee injury that you've had. Maybe it is going to take you a little bit longer to come back, but it just doesn't add up with everything we saw in spring training, where you saw him taking BP, you saw him running sprints even before spring training began. And again, that stuff can be deceiving, and it's more that goes into that to being able to play a major league game. And especially, as I've said numerous times, it's not like he can just DH. He has to play in the field. It's just hard to know if the Braves are being overly cautious or if it really is taking Acuña this long to build up strength to be ready. I hope it's the former, and I hope they're just being extra cautious. But if that is the case, why? Because you need Acuña back in the lineup. I'm sure part of it is they want to make sure, unlike the first time where maybe they did rush him back a little bit too soon, maybe he rushed himself back a little too soon. I think they want to be a little bit more careful with it this time, and that when he does come back, he is 100%. You're not having to worry too much about maintenance days, and that he's as close to full strength as possible. And I think that's probably the most likely scenario here. I just don't trust the Braves front office at this point, which is sad to say, to tell me if there was some sort of setback. That is, and to be fair, the Braves never put any timeline on this, but there were certainly some suggestions, some hints here and there that Alex Anthopoulos had given that he could be back sooner. But to his credit, he dodged it as a politician would and said, it could be late May, could be June, could be late June. He covered all of his bases in talking about the timeline at all. It just, as a fan outside perspective, I certainly expected him to be at least close to ready by now. And it sounds like he's still weeks away from even possibly returning, because they didn't even say when he could go out to LA to be reevaluated again. So we're talking about probably still at least 3 weeks away from Ronald. And now we're getting into the month of June, which, my estimate was early May. And even some of the beat writers were saying mid-May. And now we're talking about late May, early June at the earliest for Ronald. It's odd. And it's also just frustrating because I want to see him play again, and I want to see him out there. And I think he's going to make a big difference for this team. But hey, you got Eli White, you got Alex Verdugo. They're swinging the bats well and playing good right now. But it could also give you a chance to put Eli White in center and get Michael Harris a day off against a tough lefty like you're going to face on Tuesday when Andrew Abbott is on the mound against Chris Sale. That's called a segue in the biz. They play at 7:15 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday night. Andrew Abbott, fly ball pitcher, somehow surviving in Cincy. A lot of off-speed, changeup, sweeper, curve. He's walked 9 batters in his last 2 starts, and he's only gone 4 innings in those 2 starts. So struggling a bit with command here as of late. He has survived so far because nobody's really hitting him. He hasn't given up to more than 5 hits and a single outing, and done a pretty good job, getting out of traffic and working around those walks and the hits that he does give up. But it feels like he's playing with fire a little bit, and hopefully he gets burnt on Tuesday. As for Chris Sale, great performance last time out. Was Colorado, though. A little bit tougher team now. I know you shut them out on Monday, but it's a team that when they're clicking, they can put up a lot of runs and be a dangerous offense. They are missing a big bat in Austin Hayes right now. That would be a great bat for them against the lefty here. But yeah, I'm hoping to see more from Chris Sale. I want to see him build on that. Obviously, the Braves need him to build on that and be the ace at the top of the order that we know he can be. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this matchup against a couple of lefties, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Chris Sale builds on his last outing. And if he can continue to command that fastball that's eluded him, the slider, I think, has been much better over the last several starts, but it's the fastball command that's really kind of gotten away from him. Can he be efficient? Can he give you 6 solid innings in this one, work deep into the ball game? And can the offense string some hits together? Can they put Andrew Abbott away. If he's struggling with that command, you're getting walks, you're constantly putting pressure on him. Can you get that big hit to put him away, put a crooked number on, scratch a run across here or there? Can the Braves offense finally get back on track after 5 kind of subpar performances from them? So that's your matchup on Tuesday for the Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds. We'll be back on the postcast after that one. And obviously I'll be back on Wednesday morning, talking more about that game and setting you up for the rest of the series. But that will do it with this episode of Locked On Braves. Thanks so much for joining me today. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube if you're new, hit the thumbs up button and leave me a comment down below. Follow us on the socials at shortstopball, at LockedOn_Braves on X, and Locked On Braves on Instagram. And make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to the Locked On Braves podcast wherever you get your podcast. And we will talk to you next time.